The Los Angeles Chargers were supposed to be talented but harmless, flashy but flawed, dangerous only on paper. That label is officially dead. As sources claim, something snapped into place the moment the new season hit full speed, and now the entire NFL is scrambling to keep up. This team isn't winning cute games anymore. It's suffocating opponents, controlling tempo, and breaking spirits early. That's not luck. That's structure, identity, and intent colliding at once. Everything starts with the tone shift. The Chargers don't play rushed anymore. Drives look surgical. Defensive series feel mean. As sources claim, coaches around the league privately admit the Chargers film is becoming mandatory viewing because the balance is scary. Run when needed. Strike deep without forcing it. Punish mistakes instantly. That's not a gimmick offense. That's championship math. The biggest difference shows up in the trenches. For years, this roster had stars floating without gravity. Now the offensive line moves bodies with purpose, opening lanes that make defenses panic. On defense, the front doesn't just chase sacks. It collapses pockets and erases escape routes. That's grown man football, and teams feel it by the second quarter. Momentum matters, and the Chargers have learned how to steal it. Third downs feel inevitable. Red zone trips turn into points instead of regrets.
When there's a major, big-time, long-time winning team in the NFL that loses, we sometimes don't talk about the team that beats them. The Los Angeles Chargers, everybody, not only have a chance to win the AFC West, but in so doing, potentially the conference. That's in the ether. They've won 6 of 7 now, 3 in a row since the bye, and they've done it by hitting you in the mouth and taking the shots and making the plays on every facet.
As sources claim, opponents are already adjusting game plans midweek, trying to shorten games just to survive. That's fear. When teams stop trying to beat you and start trying to limit damage, the power dynamic flips fast. The most dangerous part? This doesn't look like a hot streak. It looks rehearsed. It looks repeatable. Every week, the execution sharpens instead of slipping. That's how machines are built, not through hype, but through ruthless consistency. And right now, the Chargers are checking every box that turns contenders into nightmares. For years, people blamed injuries, bad luck, or cursed breaks. As sources claim, the real issue was simpler. The system never fully fit the talent. That excuse is gone now. The Chargers finally look like a team built around strengths instead of forcing players into rigid roles. The result is terrifying efficiency. Play calling doesn't feel reactive anymore. It feels predatory. Defenses get stretched horizontally, then punished vertically. Linebackers hesitate for half a second, and that's all it takes. As sources claim, analytics departments around the league are buzzing about how the Chargers manipulate spacing and timing better than almost anyone right now. Defensively, the identity is even clearer. No soft zones, no passive shells. The Chargers attack protections and bait quarterbacks into rush decisions. They don't need constant blitzes because pressure shows up organically. That's discipline married to aggression, the hardest combo to defend. Communication is the silent upgrade. Missed assignments used to haunt this team. Now coverage rotations snap into place. Tackles finish clean, penalties drop. That's coaching translating directly to execution. As sources claim, rival players have said the Chargers feel older on film, meaning smarter, calmer, more prepared. Depth matters too. This isn't a one-lineup miracle. Rotations stay fresh. Injuries don't derail momentum. Next man up actually means something now. That's playoff DNA being grown in real time, not just talked about in press conferences. When a system works, confidence multiplies. Players stop pressing. Big plays come naturally. And once confidence locks in, mistakes from opponents pile up. The Chargers aren't just benefiting from their own improvement. They're feeding on others' panic. That's when a good team crosses into cheat code territory. As sources claim, front offices aren't loud about it, but the concern is real. The Chargers don't have obvious weaknesses anymore. Every contender has one. Shaky line play, inconsistent secondary, red zone struggles. Finding LA's flaw is becoming a guessing game. Matchups that used to favor elite AFC teams suddenly feel uncomfortable. Speed gets neutralized, physicality gets matched, creativity gets punished. The Chargers don't rely on one trick, so there's nothing to take away. If one option disappears, another takes over instantly. Late game execution is what's scaring teams the most. Close games used to be LA's downfall. Now they close doors without drama. Clock management is sharp. Situational football is tight. As sources claim, several defensive coordinators have admitted the Chargers are the hardest team to adjust against after halftime. Psychologically, that matters. Teams walk into games knowing adjustments won't save them. That pressure builds fast. Mistakes come earlier. Risky throws appear sooner. That's how blowouts start without warning. The AFC arms race is real, and the Chargers just jumped a level. They're not chasing anyone. They're setting the pace. When contenders stop talking trash and start talking respect, the shift is official. The league feels it, and nobody likes where it's heading. Dynasties don't announce themselves. They show patterns, consistent wins, identity clarity, ruthless preparation. As sources claim, the Chargers are checking those boxes earlier than expected. That's why the buzz is getting louder every week. Roster construction finally makes sense long-term. Contracts align. Youth blends with veterans. There's no desperate window-closing energy. This feels sustainable, not rushed. That's rare in a league built on short-term panic. Leadership shows on the field. No finger-pointing. No visible fractures. When mistakes happen, corrections come instantly. That culture doesn't form overnight. It's taught, reinforced, and protected. And it's paying dividends now. The Chargers aren't flashy for highlights alone. They're boring when boring wins games. Explosive when opportunity opens. That balance wins in January. As sources claim, playoff opponents fear teams that don't beat themselves more than teams that chase style. Everything points forward. The margin for error is shrinking for everyone else. And when a team realizes it can win any style, any environment, against any opponent, that's when belief becomes dangerous. This isn't hype anymore, it's a message. The Chargers aren't building towards something, they've arrived. As sources claim, internal league chatter already places them among the top Super Bowl threats, not dark horses. Opponents know the margin is gone. Fans feel the shift. Analysts are rewriting expectations. The Chargers don't look like a team hoping things break right. They look like a team breaking others on purpose. Every snap adds pressure. Every win builds belief. Every dominant performance tightens the spotlight. And unlike past versions, this group isn't blinking. That's the scariest part. The real reason the Los Angeles Chargers have crossed into cheat code territory isn't the highlight plays or the box score flexing. It's how this team is built to survive January football. As sources claim, league insiders are pointing to one thing quietly separating the Chargers from the rest of the AFC pack. They win ugly just as easily as they win loud, cold games, tight games, slugfest where points are scarce and patience decides everything. These Chargers don't panic when the scoreboard stalls. They don't abandon the run after one bad series. They don't start freelancing on defense. That discipline is playoff gold, and most teams don't develop it until years into a contender window. Watch how the Chargers handle adversity now. A stalled drive doesn't spiral into 3-and-out chaos. A defensive lapse doesn't snowball into confusion. As sources claim, the sideline communication has completely changed. Adjustments are quick, calm, and decisive. That's the difference between a talented team and a dangerous one. In the postseason, quarterbacks don't win alone. Offensive lines win, defensive fronts win, and depth wins when stars get worn down. The Chargers check all three boxes. Their run game doesn't just chew clock. It forces defenses into heavier packages, opening passing lanes later. That's long game thinking, not weekly survival mode. Defensively, the Chargers thrive on patience. They don't overchase splash plays. They squeeze routes. They force offenses to earn everything underneath. As sources claim, quarterbacks facing LA are averaging longer drives with fewer explosive plays, meaning more snaps, more hits, and more mental fatigue. That's how mistakes get manufactured late. What really separates them is situational dominance. Third and short, they convert. Third and long, they get off the field. Red zone, touchdowns instead of hope. End of halves, points before and after the break. That's championship sequencing. Stacking moments instead of plays. Special teams quietly play their role too. Field position battles tilt in LA's favor. Returns don't swing momentum the wrong way. Kicking situations feel automatic. In January, those boring details end seasons, and the Chargers don't bleed there anymore. As sources claim, veteran playoff teams are already adjusting scouting reports, treating LA like a top seed regardless of standings. That respect comes from film, not hype. Coaches know when a team stops beating itself. Players know when physicality travels. The Chargers style does both. This is why the Super Bowl chatter isn't premature. It's structural. This roster isn't relying on miracle throws or defensive turnovers to survive. It imposes its will slowly, then breaks teams late. That's the blueprint every champion follows. And the Chargers are executing it step by step. Here's the part that should genuinely worry the rest of the NFL. The Chargers are nowhere near their ceiling yet. As sources claim, coaches inside the building believe this team is still learning how dominant it can be, and that's terrifying for everyone else. Young contributors are getting better weekly instead of fading under pressure. Routes are sharper, reads are quicker, defenders are anticipating instead of reacting. That's growth happening in real time, not off-season projection talk. When improvement shows mid-season, it means the coaching infrastructure is locked in. The chemistry curve is still rising. Timing-based offense is usually peak late, and the Chargers are clearly not there yet. Missed opportunities from earlier weeks are now turning into chunk plays. Protection breakdowns are being cleaned up. As sources claim, film sessions have become more about refining than fixing, which is a massive shift. Defensively, communication continues tightening. Coverages disguise better. Blitz looks multiply without increasing risk. Opposing quarterbacks hesitate longer before pulling the trigger. That hesitation equals sacks, deflections, and turnovers, and those pile up when pressure compounds. The psychological edge is growing too. Teams don't circle Chargers games as must-win opportunities anymore. They circle them as survive and move on matchups. That mindset flips effort levels fast. When opponents play not to get embarrassed, aggression disappears. The Chargers feast on that. Another scary layer, roster flexibility. The front office didn't sell out for one season. Contracts remain movable. Draft capital stays intact. As sources claim, the Chargers can still ADD pieces without destabilizing the core. That's dynasty math, not one-year hype. Leadership depth matters as well. This isn't a locker room leaning on one voice. Accountability is spread. Veterans reinforce standards. Younger players buy in instead of resisting. That culture sustains success when injuries hit or pressure spikes. And pressure will spike. Expectations are rising weekly. Media narratives are shifting. Spotlight games are coming. The difference now is that pressure no longer feels external. The Chargers play like they expect greatness instead of hoping for it. That's a dangerous internal flip. If the current trajectory holds, this team won't just compete for a Super Bowl, it will dictate matchups for years. Opponents will draft differently, game plans will shift, divisions will react. That's how power reshapes the league. The NFL has seen talented teams flash before. This feels different. This feels intentional. And as sources claim, the Chargers aren't done sending messages yet. They're just getting warmed up. If this breakdown locked in why the Chargers are officially a problem, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dive NFL breakdowns that cut through the noise and call it exactly how it is.